I think we sat down and did an interview before.
We did. Yeah.
And how many years ago was that?
Got to be 5 years.
5 years ago.
Certainly before the pandemic.
Certainly before the pandemic. That's right.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to revisit with you because so much has happened since the last time we talked. And you just got back over here and
a couple
weeks ago. And you're from Canada. And how long had it been since you'd been here before?
2.5 years.
2.5 years.
Well, actually, yeah, 2.5 years. Yeah, it'll be January, it'll be 3 years.
You know, when I first started out this whole Retire Cheap program, it was about, or the project was about, you know, baby boomers hitting retirement age and, you know, trying to give them more life for less money. And then I switched and said, you know, money shouldn't be the sole reason to come to Thailand. There were so many intangibles. You know, the friendliness of the people, you can talk to strangers. There's just so many things that, flexibility in some of the rules and regulations, which some people would think is a good thing, some would think it was a bad thing.
Right.
But for me, it was a good thing. And so I switched and said, you know, don't let finances be the sole reason. And now, after this pandemic and watching what's happening around the world with inflation and the loss of freedoms and rights and things like that in certain countries, now I think this place, in my opinion, is even better than it was before. Now there's a ton of reasons to be here. And I mentioned to you, we got a chance to talk just before coming out here. We had some lunch, and I told you that one of our members in the member site lives in Portland. He said, you know, a studio there is over $1,000 a month. And I started talking to you about, you know, the cost of housing. You do home appraisals and property appraisals and things that I don't see how people are doing it. And so I wanted to sit down with you now that you're fresh back in the country and get your opinion of if anything has changed since you were here last and how you perceive the difference between a life of retirement. Well, you're not retired, you're working anyway. But
well, I'm semi.
So how do you see or perceive the difference between a life back home at our age and with you don't have a fixed income yet, but as on a fixed income? The whole thing, not just the money, but everything.
Yeah, I think it's looks even more desirable since the pandemic.
Why? In what respects?
Because North America seems to be in you know, bad shape. You know, it's we're in debt, the country, and I don't want to get into the whole thing of how the government has handled the pandemic, but I don't know whether there's probably been mistakes.
There's some questionable things
for sure. And prices, like all around the world, I think prices are way up. It's getting harder to own property. Too expensive. We're getting more homelessness problems. It's just the whole structure is wonky, you know, and the pandemic certainly led to a lot of that, although we had a lot of the problems before.
But it exacerbated the ones we already had.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's why I say it looks more desirable to live in Thailand than in the West, for sure. So retiring here in Thailand, or 6 months, looks pretty good to me now. Yeah, even more than it did before.
Even more than it did before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I asked before about how you would get by. You know, we have the membership site now, and we're opening a community site, and I said that was for people that's already here or coming over to network with other people, because that's the biggest challenge I see people having over here, especially living like I do out in the middle of nowhere, is getting connected with other people. So we're going to try and solve that. And I mentioned to you, if you did come live full-time, how would you occupy your time?
Well, partly with the online work, because even though I'm beyond retirement age, really, it's something I can do because I have like 35 years in the business, and my experience counts for what I'm doing. So I would have that part-time income, which would be pretty good, Thai standards, by Thai standards. And then I would have a government pension. And with the prices still beyond reasonable compared with the West, I could live very comfortable here.
Yeah, we talked about while we were eating lunch the price of, especially when it includes labor in whatever it is you're paying for, service or something like that, how incredibly inexpensive it is.
It is. And the 2 weeks I've been here this time, I found that out twice.
Yeah, you were experiencing inflation and costs of goods.
Yeah.
But that's happening all around the world. When we look at the cost of things going up, even if you went by percentage-wise, because we're starting at such a small or a lower base price, that inflation, even though the percentage might be the same as in the States, it's actually a lot more palatable to handle it here than it would be back home. And so I really do think, unless things drastically change, that this is a really good option. It's definitely someplace I would like to hang out during the storm. You know, it's a good life, and people are still a little bit fearful here. You know, they said, okay, you don't have to wear the mask anymore, but as you see, they're still masked up. You know, they're still afraid. But you do have the ability not to wear it if you want to.
Sure.
And so we do have the freedom to do that.
Yeah.
And there was not mandatory vaccinations for anybody, so that was voluntary. So there was a lot of good that came out of it. And hopefully we'll be able to keep going in a positive direction here.
Right. But in the West, they're still, although they're pretty well opened up now, there's still these, there's still doctors and that saying, well, as I said just before I left Canada a couple of weeks ago, they were saying, oh, the 7th wave of COVID is coming. You shouldn't drop your masks right yet. And that kind of thing. And, you know, I said, you know, give me a break. We've had 2.5 years of this. We don't need it anymore. Lost a lot of small businesses have gone under, although there's more people opening up businesses again, but we have lost a lot of business. And, it's... It was quite a 2.5 year period, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it was.
I'll tell you.
And so what do you like the most about, you're married to a Thai wife, but what do you appreciate most about the life in Thailand compared to back in Canada?
I think I automatically, when I arrive here, leave a lot of stress behind, although I'm still doing some work, but it's no problem.
That's good.
And of course the other thing is the people have been so accepting. I've been coming for about 12 times, 13 times, until the pandemic interrupted that. And the people have not lost any friendship towards foreigners that I can see anyway. My family is very inviting. My Thai family is very inviting to me, and they make me feel right at home, and I feel right at home. And I've met quite a few expats from different countries, and all of those are good friends now. And I think I even have more friends here than in Canada.
Really? Is it easy to talk to strangers or meet people in Canada?
Very easy to interact with Thais if you use a little bit of Thai language as best you can.
How about back in Canada? To other foreigners in Canada, like just meeting people off the street and stuff. Can you strike up a conversation?
No.
No.
People seem to be more withdrawn within themselves. You don't really look at strangers in the eye. You look at some people and they'll get angry at you. Look in the eye. Over here, like, you can say hello to a Thai woman and you wouldn't dare say hello to to another Canadian woman. You call the police. You know. So the people I noticed that the people are very inviting and would like to talk to you. Some of them even try to talk English, and they would like to learn your English, and they appreciate any Thai you can talk to them. And so that's the world of difference, is with interacting with people. Yeah.
And how about health-wise between the two countries? I hear it gets a little bit cool in Canada.
Well, from November to April, yeah. Like January, February, you can, where I live and that's in the south part of Canada near the U.S. border, New York State and that, we can get like minus 40 with the wind chill in January, February. And
Wow.
that was killing me. And during the pandemic, like before the pandemic, I said, I'm not spending another year in Canada. Well, there you go, the pandemic hit and I was stuck.
So do you think it's healthier for you to be here?
I definitely think so, yeah. I get more exercise, I swim more, eat better. In fact, my family doctor, whenever I used to come back from Thailand, she used to say, gee, you always come back healthier than when you left.
Really?
Yes,
That's
for sure.
interesting.
For sure, yeah. So, and I don't really watch what I eat either. If I watch what I eat and ate more vegetables and swim more and walk more, I'd even be healthier. And I don't feel so bad right now.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
And I have diabetes and type 2 and I have high blood pressure, which I have medications for. But I definitely feel better in this climate here than especially in the middle of winter.
So I have a question for you. If you compared, okay, let's just take if you quit your walk-in job, you're the one that takes your physical presence, and you did your online work. If you compared your life in Canada and your life here on that income, and if you took your pension, if you could do that as well,
Yeah.
what's the difference in how much money you'd be able to actually save on a monthly basis, considering all the expenses? Now, you have an extended family here, so you can have a little extra expenses, but even accounting for that.
So I could live very comfortably here in Thailand. Yeah.
So at the end of the month, would you be in a better position here, financial-wise,
Yes,
doing that
definitely.
than if you were back in Canada?
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
So what would be the downside? Oh, you mentioned what the downside would be. We talked about that at lunch. So the downside for a Canadian is different than the downside for an American. Because if you were here more than 6 months, what happens?
More than 6 months, I would lose my Ontario provincial health benefits, which covers pretty well everything, even medications. I would lose that if I didn't spend 6 months in Canada. So the choice to live here or live 6 and 6 would be depending on if I could buy health insurance from a Thai firm, how much that would cost me and cover me year round, and then I would probably spend a lot more time in Thailand and just vacation in Canada in the summer.
Yeah, in the summer.
Yeah.
Good choice. So taking into account if you paid for full insurance policy here, like I'm about 10 years younger than you almost,
Right.
And I pay the equivalent of almost less than $2,000 for a whole year.
$2,000 US.
Yeah, the equivalent of $2,000 a year with Pacific Cross. We talked to Jamie.
Yeah.
And yours would be a little more from the
Right.
table because of your age.
Right.
So if you factored that in, say you paid an extra $1,000, say it was $3,000 US dollars.
Right.
There's some people I know that if they came over in 1 month, they would save more than $3,000 living here.
Yeah. Well, I truly believe that's possible. Of course, it depends on your way you live right here, right? I mean, if I lived in Bangkok and ate at foreign
High-end
restaurants all the
restaurant,
time, I mean,
and your lifestyle back in the West as well. That would come into play there as well.
But on the other scale, I could live pretty cheap where we do now.
You got the
In a
house,
small
the car,
village. Got the house and the car. Got a $200 a month mortgage.
Yeah. Oh my God, that'll break the bank, eh? Wow.
Well, say my wife has a mortgage, but I pay it.
Yeah, that's the way it works here.
Yeah, but with my part-time income, I could probably save every month. Sure, yeah, I can see that.
Even paying for the insurance.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I could probably earn that much in a month on my part-time work to pay for the whole year.
Yeah, for the whole year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, over here, it's not that expensive for foreigners either to go to an international hospital. Like, I've had shots and I've had ear infections, and I walked up paying $50, you know, for seeing a specialist.
That's right, and that's paying out of pocket.
Right,
you know?
right.
Yeah.
And that's like right away. You wait in Canada. Like, I'm waiting now for MRI or something on my neck. It's something to do with my eyes. And I've been waiting maybe 2 months so far to hear back for when I'm going to get that.
Yeah. Yeah, so there might also be another upside to actually having a paid plan.
Yeah.
You know.
Whereas here, you walk into a hospital and they see you.
Right.
And you go to a garage to have a little work done, and they send you right in.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
In Canada, you go to a garage and they'll say, "Well, next Wednesday."
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So yeah. The more we speak, the more reasons I come up with to
cancel that ticket going home now. Yeah. Well, I just wanted to sit down with you and chat you up for a minute and talk about some of these things that.
Yeah.
You know, what your options are, what your plans are, and how you see Thailand now compared to, you know, when you left 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
I know you wanted to come visit more and got waylaid, and that didn't happen.
Right.
And now that you're here, you know, after a long hiatus of not being here, how you felt about coming back.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back for sure. As I said, it even looks even better now after the pandemic. What's going on in the West.
And you said the membership site helped you get through the time.
The membership site and a couple of bloggers I use, helped me get through the winters especially.
Yeah, we'll get you back over here permanently before too long. And I'm glad you found it useful during the times that you couldn't be here.
Yeah.
Getting a little taste of back.
That's right.
Well, Pete, thanks so much for first of all for being a member for so long and helping to support what we do there and you know, our charitable contributions and stuff that go through the membership site and being part of our little RC Asia family. And I've
enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I hope to get you over here before too long so we can hang out more often.
Sure.
All right.
Okay, we're not that far apart right now.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, JC here. If you like that video, make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel here. Also, we have another video up here you're going to be really interested in watching as well. And if you're looking for all the details of how to retire in Thailand in one place, plus a group of people to support you, check this out over here. Give it a click.